So look, if you want to grow your wealth, your income, and increase the amount of time off, then these are the shortcuts that can help. Welcome to the Wealth Creation Podcast. And welcome everybody, it's Dan. It has been a long time since we've gone live. I can't even get my words out, it's been that long. Anyway, look, how are you doing? I hope you're well today. I'm just going to double check that everything's in place. We haven't been live for such a long time. And I figured that we should probably just go and double check that it's working. Very good. I'm live on Facebook. Always worth checking. Anyway, hope you're well. We are going to start going live again. Over summer, it always goes really quiet. We've been over in the US for 3 weeks in July, which was amazing. Absolutely stupendous holiday. Spent far too much money. But it was a wonderful, wonderful holiday. Beach riding, horse riding on the beach at 8 a.m. in San Francisco. I mean, just truly amazing. But here we are, we're back, and thank you for joining me. And if you listen to the podcast, thanks for joining me there as well. Let's talk about property sourcing. Let's talk about property sourcing compliance. One of our partners, who's also not only one of our partners, but also one of our digital marketing clients, which is really cool because we get a really good insight into their business and what works and what doesn't and that kind of thing. And we see all the property sources coming on board. And one of the biggest problems that property sources have, and it doesn't matter where you are, you know, if you're just first starting out or if you've been a property sourcer for a while, getting compliant as a property sourcer is often a major challenge that stops people moving into being a property sourcer and starting earning the big bucks, right? And we know that you can earn a lot of money by being a property sourcer, but you can only earn a lot of money by being a property sourcer if you're compliant. And you do need to be compliant. And so out of touch am I with doing the sessions that I actually can't spell my agenda correctly. Why you need to be compliant. So I'm going to update that as we are speaking. Because being compliant is really, really important. If you're not compliant, you are really risking a lot of fines. Like, we saw one of the fines that came through, and it was a significant amount of money. And I know some people go, oh, you don't need to be compliant. It's fine. You get away with it. There we go. I just updated that. But you'll get away with it and you don't need to be compliant. And a friend of mine, he's been doing it for ages and he's not compliant. Like, that, so what? Like, you could be a burglar and you've never been caught. Doesn't mean it's legal, right? You could speed at 100 miles an hour every single day and never get caught. Doesn't mean it's illegal. Just because you're getting away with not being compliant doesn't mean that you're going to continually get away with not being compliant. You have to be compliant. There's no ifs, there's no buts. You are acting as an estate agency if you are sourcing property from one person to another. It's like there's no argument. You are acting as an estate agent. You're introducing property for financial gain or whatever the terminology is. So you must be compliant. But one of the barriers to getting compliant is it can actually cost quite a lot of money. Just getting everything set up, and it can be really confusing as well. And so if you click the link down below, we've actually got something that will help you. Just go through the process, take a good look, and if you want to sign up to be a compliant for the compliance vault, then that's the easiest way of doing it. But you have to be compliant. There's no getting around this. You know, I wish there was. I wish that we didn't have to be compliant. I wish you could just start up in business, off you go. But you know what? The world doesn't work like that. You have to be compliant. And there's a reason why these checks and sums are in place. And it's obviously it's to protect the consumer. And I actually think that's really important to do. You know, would you drive a car without understanding the highway code? And I know some people drive a car like they haven't had lessons. But you and I, if you're out driving on the road, you've passed your test. And if you're buying something and you're going through a sourcer, you would hope that that sourcer actually knows what they're doing, that they have done the training and that they are actually compliant and have done all their checks, because then you know that you're actually starting off on the right foot. And let's talk about that. If, you know, people go, well, I can't afford to be compliant yet. I'm going to wait until I get a few deals. And I've got this full-time job anyway, and I'm doing this part-time. And it's like, dude, commit to the process. Don't just go, well, we'll just dip my toe in the water. You know, and I love this saying, by the way. If you just dip your toe in the water, you just get a wet toe. Like, There's no such thing as dipping your toe in the water. If you want to be successful at something, you have to immerse yourself into it. CrossFit's a great example. I do CrossFit 6 days a week now, and I've got all right. I've got quite good, really. I've only been 2.5 years into my journey. It takes a long time to build up strength and build up technique and expertise and build up experience and all that stuff. It takes a long time, right? But if I only did CrossFit once a week, like now I'm doing it 6 days a week, it's going to take 6 times longer than me doing it like once a day, right? And the reason why I'm able to accelerate those results is because I committed to the process. I committed to excellence. And if you want to be a property sourcer, you should commit to the process as well. You should commit to excellence. You should commit to, burning the boats and going all in, and that's what you should commit to. Nobody achieves anything in life unless you become committed to the thing that you want to achieve. Like, do you want to run a marathon? You have to commit to the training to run a marathon. Is a marathon impossible to run? Of course it isn't. Can you commit to training and get a marathon, from 0 to hero in less than 12 months? Of course you can, but not if you're not going to commit to it. And so you also have to commit to being a property sourcer. It's literally the only way for you to get the success that you want in this industry. This industry is really hard. There's lots of competition, okay? That's the bad news. The good news is the competition is shit. That's the really good news. And what that means is that you can rise to the top against the other competition because they're not compliant. They're not committed to it. They do very little training. They do very little networking. Their business cards are crap. They haven't got a bloody clue. They don't know how to speak to people. They've done no role-playing around scenarios and situations that can get them into a potential deal. And they're not compliant. And so you have to get compliant because that will get you on the right footing that can act as a solid platform that you can bounce off for your success. God, I'm full of metaphors today. But it's true, right? If you want to do this, commit to the process. That is how you do it. One of the things that we're working on right now is live like legends, right? And we think about what does it mean to live like a legend. So if I want to slim down, put muscle on, I got really close to doing CrossFit muscle ups today. So close. It is my nemesis. And I feel like I'm never ever going to get there. But I got really close. I could literally smell victory in the air. Still didn't get there, but I was so close. And we do this, living like legends and being successful in all areas of our lives means we have to be committed. And we have to immerse ourselves in that journey to that level of commitment. Let's just cover this one off. It's so important to say there is no such thing as co-sourcing. And I know people will argue, oh, well, my mate, he's co-sources. Fine, he'll go to prison or he'll get a big fine. It's as simple as that. It's like, I know a guy who drives 100 miles an hour everywhere. At some point, he's going to kill someone, he's going to go to prison, he's going to get multiple points, he's going to be banned from driving, he's going to get caught, right? There is no such thing as co-sourcing. You have to be compliant. So let me just cover off why I say there's no such thing as co-sourcing. And people go, oh, I'll just put you under my compliance. No. You have to be an employee of the organisation. Because when HMRC comes knocking on your door because you're selling deals and you're not compliant, you go, well, I'm co-sourcing. They're going to go, okay, show us your PAYE slips, pay as you earn pay slips, show us those. Have you got your contract of employment? No, I've not got a contract of employment. Well, who's employed without a contract of employment? You're not employed then, are you? So you're co-sourcing. Are you compliant? No. Well, you're screwed then. That's it. It's very clear. HMRC knows whether you're employed or not employed. I think they might do. They've got all the bloody paperwork. But if you're not any of those and you're not compliant, you're acting as a sourcer illegally. And at some point, you're going to get caught out, right? Like, why are you taking that risk? Especially when it's 187.50 at the time of film. It might go up or down. Who knows, right? But that is relatively cheap. Where else can you start a business and get fully compliant for 187 quid and 50 pence? Like where? Like that is the thing that's going to help you close more deals. Because the other thing that being compliant does is it helps you build trust and it helps you get more deals. I'm in multiple Facebook groups and some WhatsApp groups, and I hate the WhatsApp groups because I just keep getting notifications. People, haha, smiley faces, thumbs up. Like, there's 3 notifications that I could have done without, God, I'm grumpy as I'm getting older. But being in these groups, and I see people, they're not compliant. And then people are asking, well, are you compliant? They go, well, no, not yet. Well, what are you doing presenting deals if you're not compliant? And people are not doing deals with them because they're not compliant, because if you can't be compliant, where's the trust? How do you trust a person who's selling you property deals and they're not even compliant, right? Because they're lying, they're fibbing. They shouldn't be presenting any of these deals because they are not compliant. If you are compliant and people go, are you compliant? What's your compliance in reference numbers and your PRS number and all that stuff? And you present it and you have all your insurance and all that in place, like instant trust. That almost automatically puts you in the top 5%. I'm making that number up, by the way. It's not the top 5%, but it puts you in the top level of property sources, because a lot of property sources are not compliant. There's literally no reason not to be compliant. None at all. Not when it costs as low as it costs to just get compliant. And also, just to finish up on this, why would you not want to be compliant? Why would you want to be batting around the edges? Why would you want to run the risk of being illegal when actually it's quite simple to get compliant? There's a bit of work involved. Obviously, there's a bit of work involved. But why would you not be compliant when it doesn't cost that much? A little bit of work, but not too much. And then you've got all this additional trust. You can stick it all on your business cards and your website. Folks, go out and get yourself compliant. All right, hope you find that useful. Catch up with you on the next one later this week. Hey, it's Dan here. Thank you for listening. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Please click like or subscribe to the entire podcast.